So y'all ain't gonna let nobody disrespect the West Coast, huh?
Kendrick Lamar just pulled off one of the most insane victory laps over Drake that we've ever seen. Now, yesterday was Juneteenth, and if you're black and American, you know how important and significant Juneteenth is, as marks the day that slavery was ended over 200 years ago. Now, if you were to ask someone on the internet what day was yesterday, they would say it was Drake's funeral. And that a biracial Canadian rapper going against a dude from Compton was a recipe for disaster to begin with. Kendrick Lamar united the entire LA. He had gangbangers, the Crips, the Bloods, the Essays, and he created the biggest moment that LA had in over 5 years since Kobe and Nipsey died. How Kendrick Lamar won was he essentially beat Drake at his own game. But before I get into it, I ask that you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you turn on the post notification. Let's get into it. Kendrick Lamar beat Drake at his own game because Euphoria was simply a lyrical masterpiece. Now let me say this, right? When Euphoria first came out, it felt like a snooze fest. Like, I actually just couldn't believe it. This is the first song you're putting out responding to push-ups where Drake is saying drop and give me 50. You're signing a slave record deal. You're talking about our superpowers getting neutralized. I can only watch in silence, which is quite funny because Kendrick Lamar did foreshadow some things that happened in the beat. But when he came out with Euphoria on Juneteenth, the Ken Pop-Up Party, Kendrick Lamar's crowd work surprised me and exceeded all my expectations. Because when that song first came out, it was quite eerie. You know, it talked about Drake's character saying the once rapper we knew or once actor we knew was parallel and now spiraling. And he's not a rap artist, he's a scam artist. And that just plays into the whole issue that people have with Drake, right? How Drake is culture vulture, Drake is a fake, he exploits every culture. You know, one day he's wearing a do-rag in Jamaican and speaking patois, the next day he's in the UK with a balaclava, pushaisi mask, and the next day he's in Nigeria making Afrobeats music. People have always had a bone to pick with Drake, right? So him tapping that angle, especially on a worldwide huge stage in his hometown, was genius. Like, if Drake would do something like that in Toronto, he would have to go at Kenny for being short, being an abuser. And Kendrick Lamar did the same thing, going at the pedophile allegations and talk about Drake simply not being authentic, which is a lot of problems that a lot of black Americans have with Drake, right? They feel like Drake is the result of cultural appropriation, right? Drake is intertwined with so many cultures. He's here for one moment and he's now somewhere else. Now he's in Europe. Now he's doing this. And people just feel like Drake isn't authentic. And when Kendrick Lamar said, I'm with the culture feeling, a lot of black folks felt that because, hey, here we have a dude who's not from us, which means they not like us. He's not from America, talking about stuff that we real life experienced, that he's cosplaying in his songs, and that he's acting hard when we really have to put on that badge of mean mugging, acting hard every day. But he's just putting on for the raps. He gets to go back to his white family, live in his Jewish neighborhood, and that's how a lot of people are feeling. I knew Kendrick Lamar had the pulse in this beef when people weren't really looking at the nasty stuff that Drake had to say about Kendrick. You know, when Kendrick Lamar went at Drake, yo, he's a pedophile. Yo, he did this. Yo, Baka got a weird case. Why is he around? But when Drake said, yo, you're a woman beater. You're not the Mr. Morale you proclaim to be. You're not this family activist. You're rapping like you're trying to free the slaves. When people heard free the slaves, that was all it took to flip on Drake, man. We know how real slavery was in America, how black folks were still behind for 400 years. And the fact that Kendrick Lamar did that on Juneteenth, knowing how significant that day is in America, Kendrick, man, I gotta give it to you, man. Even though it hurts, I gotta give a win a win because you played it perfectly. He had the gang members come on stage uniting, and even just the past lyrics going at Drake in his past work. He said, if I catch a fight, it's gotta be direct. I hate the way you walk, hate the way you talk, hate the way that you dress. If I catch a fight, it's gonna be direct. I even hate the woman that you smash because they confuse yourself with a woman, I guess. Like, Kendrick Lamar was aiming for the head this entire performance. And when he first said that he was having this whole tour 2 weeks after, because he announced it like 2 weeks before, right? Very little advertising time. I knew this was gonna be the victory lap that it was because Kendrick Lamar rarely pops out, right? Like, I ain't gonna front, bro. As much as I'm a Drake fan, that one bar, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Like, shit, like, what am I supposed to say? Like, that is like the hit blind. Like that is like a one-liner that you just can't escape from. Like, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Like, I just felt that on a different level. And I know the Americans who went through that real life struggle and feel like Drake is cosplaying felt that too. The Kendrick verse where he said, I know some shit about Ghana, that'll make dudes look like a saint. That always was kind of weird to me because Drake was never a street figure. Yeah, he does act hard in certain music, but that is hip-hop, bro. When Drake first came out, he was a soft, like, people were not feeling Drake. Maybe the ladies, but a lot of dudes wouldn't listen to Drake because they felt he was too soft, and you couldn't play that in the vehicle. That's why they came up with Drake and Drive, because let's say you might play it if you're with a shorty or something like that, but other than that, like, why am I playing Drake? So Drake, in a way, people force him to toughen up his image. Yeah, it's him cosplaying and move with some street figures and acting like he's tough. Is it right? No, not really, but let's be honest, man. In hip-hop, we want to know that the person that we're living to or listening to is living the raps. We want to know that the person is sliding on off. And Drake does rap about sliding on off, but come on, man. We know he's not really doing that. People still have some real-life issue because they feel like he's stealing some aura. Like, he's tapping down in Atlanta. He's tapping down in Houston. And even when Kendrick Lamar said Euphoria, how many black features do you feel like you're black enough? It kind of made me think because he really foreshadowed what he would talk about in Not Like Us. And side note, Kendrick Lamar pretty much had all his diss songs written pre-beef or let's say post before he responded. And is that allowed in a rap beef? Because I feel like rap beefs have to be fresh. I feel like you have to be on your toes. You have to rebuttal. Because Kendrick Lamar really didn't have to rebuttal anything at all. And he still won. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Kendrick. This is really just a general question because Drake rebutted everything. People just weren't feeling him. They felt that what Kendrick said was true. And Kendrick, in a way, was more believable to the public, which I understand that. I just felt like rap beefs, which I even learned recently, is that it's more fictitious. It's fake. When Tupac said, "That's why F your bitch" to Biggie Small talking about Faith Evans, I don't even think that he even smashed Faith Evans, but the fact that it sounds so crazy and outrageous, we believe it. Similar to Not Like Us, which I will get to, with the hit punchline trying to strike it cold, but it's probably a minor. I don't personally think that Drake is a pedophile. I feel like that pedophile allegation is internet lived. Yes, there are certain weird pictures and I don't even want to say proof, but pictures and videos that kind of corroborate certain stories, but it's not something I would outright say Drake is a pedophile because I don't believe that. And I feel like that's really just an internet thing. I feel like if Drake would have a concert similar to Kendrick or sell the show, maybe you won't do it now because it's just so hot, but like the next couple of months, people will forget about that and they'll go to shows immediately like the beef never happened.
I see dead people.
Kendrick's Not Like Us performance was a cultural assassination towards Drake that we never seen, and the epitome of the 40 laws of power, particularly Law 15, destroy your enemy completely. Now, if you look on social media, you would only think that they played 3 songs that day. Not Like Us, 616 in LA, and Euphoria. But that's not true. They played other songs from Damn, Euphoria, DNA, Element, Alright, You Gonna Be Alright. Like they played all of Kendrick Lamar's songs, but the timeline of the moment was so big of uniting the West Coast that it just overshadowed that. Now, Kendrick Lamar applied one law of power but broke another, and here's what I mean. So he played Not Like Us 5 times, and the fact that he had Dr. Dre, the DRE, introduce his song and say, "Psst, I see dead people." Like, you couldn't have an iller LA icon kickstart your moment in LA. And considering how the torch was passed in LA, it went Dre, it went to Snoop, then it went to Game, then it went to Kendrick, and it sort of went to Nipsey when Nipsey died. And Kendrick Lamar has been holding the torch down for the West Coast, and Dot is the king of the West Coast. He's been holding it down, and this was his moment. Now, the fact that he went at Drake and played the song 5 times, he had DeMar DeRozan on stage, he had Russell Westbrook. Listen, I don't know if DeMar DeRozan is mad that he didn't win a ring or the Toronto Raptors traded him away, but I don't know. But point is, he had everybody two-stepping, crip walking, and it was such a cultural moment. You seen children dancing, and it was so funny even look at the demographics of the people in the stands and in the crowd, because I'm gonna be honest, the crowd was like 70% white people, maybe Mexican people, and I've really seen any black folks there, but it was still a very cultural moment, and it surprised me. Now, here's the other power that Kendrick Lamar broke. Now, Law 48 or 49, I believe, or I guess 47 because only 48, says never go past the mark. In victory, learn when to stop. Kendrick Lamar beat Drake, and it's clear. The culture's backing him. The songs that he put out, people are feeling more. He won. He won, right? But Kendrick Lamar is still poking the bear, and I'm gonna be honest, he's leaving more room for Drake to create more diss songs and diss him back and continue the beef. When Drake put out the Heart Part 6, people said, yo, this song is so ass. Why would you delete this? Nuh-uh. Like, why would he do this, right? And I feel like it was even worse for Drake, because imagine you responding and a man saying, yo, that song was so trash, I'm not even gonna respond to it. Like, that must hurt even more, right? But with Kendrick Lamar having this whole Juneteenth festival, talking about Juneteenth, having the culture united together, and making a mockery out of Drake, he's really giving Drake more attention, and if Drake were to respond, he wouldn't be viewed as a sore loser. Because I always thought that Drake should have responded after the Heart Part 6, because y'all saying this is trash? I bet I'm gonna give you another one. But people said it was so bad. Like, this thing had over 1 million dislikes. None of these songs in this battle should have had more dislikes than likes. And that's how I knew a lot of y'all were just Drake haters. And I'm fine with that, right? I'm fine with that. Like, this is the internet. This is hip-hop. You're allowed to your opinion. And I'll agree that Kendrick Lamar is more hip-hop because Drake is so versatile and in different, so much people's, genres that he's pop, he's doing R&B, he's Afro beats, he's hip-hop, that he's more of like a, he's more intertwined. That Kendrick Lamar is essentially strictly hip-hop, considering that hip-hop came up and was an underground genre, right? So I will agree with that. Like, don't get it twisted, man. I rock with Drake super heavy, let that be known. And y'all probably gonna hate me for it, but I'm sorry. But that moment with Kendrick and the unity of LA together, that was something that you just can't duplicate, man. And I don't know if it's because LA gang culture is so bad that LA is like, I feel like a rapper is dying in LA every year, right? Like, hip hop, LA might be the most cursed city out there. And y'all don't hurt me. I'm just trying to say and to speak about what I see. So the fact that Kendrick Lamar could bring the city together and have people, I don't want to say settle the differences because today business is probably usual, but the fact that they can bring people together, even if it was over a beef of another rapper, was crazy. People weren't feeling Drake for the things they've done in the past, and I feel like every dog has their day. And Drake, in a sense, he'll live past this moment. He'll live past this moment. I'm 100% sure. And Drake is when the hero becomes the villain. The dude who's been running the game for 15 years. People always loved. Stuff started to come out the grapevine. And Kendrick Lamar, I guess, you know, the West Coast savior, met Drake in his match. I'll let you guys know what you guys think, right? Is this beef over? What's next for Drake? Me personally, I feel like these artists are too big and have too much of a dedicated fan base for all of them to be destroyed. They've been in the game 15 years, and we just have to be real about this. This was a great moment for hip-hop. I think Drake will most definitely get his lick back, and sure, you might say I'm biased, but hey, the ball's in his court now after Kendrick had that crazy-ass event. Like, comment, subscribe, post notification bell. Thank y'all for showing me love, man.